Yeah, honestly, I'm so excited that my family's here and that everyone is here and they came out and
For years, the Beckham family sold a picture-perfect dream, flawless smiles, fancy parties, and a lifestyle dripping in luxury and control. But that shiny image is cracking fast, and the truth spilling out isn't pretty. Right in the middle of this chaos, Brooklyn Beckham, his wife Nicola Peltz, and her billionaire father Nelson Peltz. Insiders whisper that Nelson never thought Brooklyn was good enough for his daughter, and that quiet judgment turned into cold stares and tense family dinners. Now the drama's out in the open, legal letters flying, harsh statements dropping, and a chilling silence, replacing all those fake smiles. Trust has snapped, lines have been crossed, and the fallout looks brutal. No one's pretending anymore, and the damage runs deep. People are wondering, has Brooklyn finally broken free and found his own path? Or is he just another piece in the powerful Peltz machine, hiding behind those perfect Instagram posts? This isn't just family drama anymore. It's a full-blown battle for loyalty, influence, and control. When Brooklyn went public and turned on his own parents with that long, emotional post, everything blew up. He didn't hold back for a second. Brooklyn straight up accused David and Victoria Beckham of twisting the story, protecting their brand instead of their own son, and constantly disrespecting his wife, Nicola Peltz. This wasn't normal celebrity drama anymore. This was an all-out public showdown with no room for cleanup or excuses. Brooklyn made it crystal clear he was done being polite. No sugarcoating, no hidden meanings. Just raw emotion and fire in every line. Each sentence hit like a punch, sharp and deliberate, with zero chance of taking it back. And then he went even harder. Brooklyn made sure everyone knew where he stood with Nicola. No doubts. No second guessing. Any chance of peace talks, quiet sit-downs, or family apologies. Completely gone. What really stunned fans wasn't just what Brooklyn said. It was how final it sounded. No, we're fixing things. No peace offering. Nothing. Just a cold, clean break that left everyone staring at their screens in shock. But insiders say that post didn't come out of nowhere. Something serious went down behind the scenes before Brooklyn ever hit post. Reportedly, David and Victoria had sent him a private letter, not through the media or friends, but straight to him, because communication had totally fallen apart. Then came the real bomb. Brooklyn allegedly fired back with a cease and desist letter, demanding his parents stop mentioning him publicly and handle everything through lawyers only. That's when this stopped being family drama and turned into a full-on legal showdown.
I see beautiful eyes that will never be bored of looking at.
Brooklyn might not be acting alone. They suspect Nicola and her billionaire dad, Nelson Peltz, could be pulling strings behind the scenes, and that's where the real power play begins. The letter David and Victoria sent next wasn't angry or defensive. Like people expected, it was heartbreak. In words, no threats, no drama. Just two parents begging their son to tell them he was okay. They wanted peace, some clarity, and a tiny sign their family wasn't completely broken. But instead of calming things down, that letter blew the fire sky. 5 days later, Brooklyn went public again with a fiery post, saying he was finally standing up for himself. He hit back hard at the rumors that Nicola was controlling him, making it clear he wasn't backing down for anyone. His words were sharp, emotional, and full of defiance. He claimed his story had been twisted, insisting Nicola wasn't pulling the strings. His parents were. He accused them of trying to control his life for years, and said he was done being managed, choosing freedom and independence for good. But here's the twist. While Brooklyn shouts about being free, critics say every move he's made since cutting ties looks perfectly in sync with the Peltz empire. Something about that freedom doesn't look so free after all. That contradiction is exactly why this family feud won't cool off anytime soon. Since the fallout, Brooklyn Beckham's whole world seems to spin around the Peltz family. He's deep in their circle now, attending their events, living their lifestyle, and, according to insiders, keeping his parents at a cold distance. Reports say he doesn't even talk to David or Victoria Beckham directly anymore. Everything goes through go-betweens. And that's what's got people whispering that this isn't normal family tension anymore. It's a full-on power struggle. And everyone keeps going back to one moment, the wedding. More specifically, that first dance that people still can't stop talking about. Brooklyn says that during what was supposed to be his private, romantic dance with Nicola, his mom suddenly stepped in and took over the dance floor. He claims it left him blindsided and embarrassed in front of everyone. And Nicola was so upset, she ran out in tears. That one awkward moment didn't just cause gossip, it might have been the spark that set off this entire family explosion. People who were there tell different stories, but everyone agrees on one thing: that moment changed everything. Witnesses say the whole vibe in the room flipped in seconds. What started as a night of love and celebration split straight down the middle. Instead of bringing two powerful families together, that one dance created a rift that still hasn't healed. Even the neutral guests admit it was never about the song or timing, it was about control, boundaries, and who owned the spotlight that night. This wasn't just a dance floor mix-up. It was a clash of pride, power, and emotion playing out right in front of everyone. What looked like an innocent mother-son moment turned into a silent showdown, and everyone in that room felt the tension. Insiders say for Nicola, that night became the point of no return. When the wedding ended, everything changed. Brooklyn was forced to choose, keep peace with his mom or stand by his wife, and he didn't hesitate for a second. He chose Nicola, fully and publicly. From that night on, the warmth was gone, replaced by a deep, icy silence. After that, the distance became impossible to ignore. Invitations went unanswered, family events were skipped, and real communication just stopped cold. Insiders say Nicola hasn't budged since refusing to show up anywhere. David or Victoria Beckham might be. Some say she's just protecting her peace. Others call it a calculated move, but either way, the results are clear. Brooklyn Beckham, once the golden boy of the Beckham empire, now stands almost completely cut off from his famous parents. Meanwhile, Nicola is still shining in the spotlight, moving with total confidence, but behind her stands the real power in this story. Her billionaire father, Nicola Peltz. He doesn't need to speak or post. He moves in silence, making power plays from the shadows while everyone else scrambles to keep up. Nelson's all about control, structure, and long-term plans, and according to insiders, he's never been fully impressed with Brooklyn. They say he brushed off Brooklyn's jumps from photography to cooking to lifestyle projects as unfocused moves without a real direction. There were no public insults, no shouting matches, just that cold silence that cuts way deeper than words ever could. And when someone like Nicola Peltz, a billionaire with massive influence, isn't impressed, that quiet doubt hits hard, especially when he's the man running the world Brooklyn just married into. That silent judgment means more than people think, because this isn't just about family approval, it's about control. And insiders say there's one major detail that's got everyone worried about Brooklyn's future. Before the wedding even took place, a strict prenup was signed, and it wasn't up for debate. If the marriage ever ends, Brooklyn gets nothing from the Peltz fortune. Not a single penny. He only keeps what he and Nicola built together during their marriage. No safety net. No cushion. Nothing extra. People close to the situation say that clause wasn't just about money, it was about power. It set the rules from day one, making it clear who's really in charge. And if things ever collapsed between them, Brooklyn wouldn't just lose his wife. He'd lose everything. If things ever fell apart, Brooklyn wouldn't just lose his wife. He'd lose everything. His safety net, his backup plan, and the family support that always had his back would be gone. And that's what reportedly keeps David and Victoria Beckham awake at night. The fear that their son handed over his entire future to someone else's control. For any parent, that's a nightmare that never ends. Insiders say that worry has haunted them ever since the family split exploded, hanging over every move they made. But despite all the drama, one thing hasn't changed: the door home is still wide open. Sources close to the Beckhams say David and Victoria would take Brooklyn back in a heartbeat. No conditions, no public apology, no strings, just love, plain and real. But Brooklyn's made his stance clear: no regrets. He says he spoke his truth, stood his ground, and walked away for his own survival. He's not backing down now. Meanwhile, the rest of the Beckham family keeps pushing forward. Siblings thriving, careers booming, the brand unstoppable. Everything looks polished on the surface, except for one glaring absence everyone sees, but nobody dares to say out loud. People who knew Brooklyn way before the fame, the money, and Nicola Peltz are starting to question if the freedom he's chasing is even real, and what they're saying isn't flattering for anyone involved. The most surprising voice didn't come from Hollywood or fashion, it came from the football world. Brooklyn's former youth coach from Queen's Park Rangers finally spoke up, and his words hit harder than anyone expected. He didn't take sides, no defending David and Victoria, no cheering for Brooklyn, just straight honesty that left everyone uneasy. According to the coach, Brooklyn's childhood might have looked golden, but behind the scenes, it was filled with pressure, anxiety, and emotional distance. He painted a picture of a kid living in luxury, but carrying invisible weight. The coach said Brooklyn had full-time security as early as 14, always watched, always protected, but never really free. Fame and fortune didn't bring peace. They brought pressure, a non-stop chase for perfection with no space to breathe, no room to just be a kid. Those coach comments cracked the perfect Beckham image wide open. For the first time, people started realizing the cracks didn't begin with the marriage, or the recent drama they'd been forming quietly. Long before Brooklyn walked away, even for someone used to high-profile families, the coach admitted some moments around young Brooklyn felt unsettling. He never blamed anyone outright, but his message hit hard. Brooklyn didn't grow up like other kids. That missing sense of normal life may have left him more open to pressure, influence, and the idea that cutting ties was the only way to protect himself. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. When you strip away the noise and headlines, one truth stands out. Nicola Peltz didn't leave her world to join Brooklyn's. Brooklyn left his to join hers. She stayed rooted in her powerful family, surrounded by money, control, and security, while keeping full independence. That imbalance has everyone asking the same thing: who really sacrificed here? Who's really in charge? Because step by step, Brooklyn's drifted further from his Beckham roots and tied his entire emotional world to one empire, the Peltz empire. That shift didn't just change Brooklyn's lifestyle, it completely flipped his power dynamics. Now people are seriously asking if he'll ever find real balance again. Because the real issue here isn't about villains or weakness, it's about isolation. When one powerful family becomes your entire emotional anchor, everything shifts. Influence doesn't always show up loud. Sometimes it moves in silence, slowly shaping choices from the inside out. And that's what's got people nervous. Silent control can hit harder than open pressure. It doesn't yell. It just settles in until it owns every move. And through all the chaos, one person has stayed totally quiet: Nelson Peltz. No statements, no denials, no defense of Brooklyn, just calculated silence. And with Nelson, silence is never by accident. It's strategy. People who know his world describe him as sharp, disciplined, and unfazed by fame. Reports say Nelson sees Brooklyn as talented but unfocused, a young man with potential, still leaning on the Beckham name more than he realizes. And when someone with Nelson's power forms an opinion like that, it doesn't just fade into the background. That kind of quiet opinion doesn't just sit still. It shapes conversations, expectations, and power moves behind closed doors. Inside those massive mansions, perception becomes everything. It might not be fair, but in a world built on money, influence, and status, perception is reality. It runs the entire game. Insiders say Nelson Peltz's doubts have only grown stronger as Brooklyn's feud with his parents keeps boiling over. In elite circles, cutting off your own family doesn't read as power. It screams instability. It sparks whispers, raises red flags, and makes people question loyalty and judgment. And in a world where reputation is currency, those whispers don't fade. They spread fast and quietly shape who's taken seriously when power's on the table. Adding to it all is Brooklyn's ongoing identity. Crisis photography, cooking, lifestyle branding. He keeps jumping lanes. Every few months, there's a new project, a new rollout, a new vision. And while David Beckham built his empire through focus and discipline, Brooklyn's path looks scattered, and according to insiders, that's got the Peltz circle quietly concerned. From the outside, Brooklyn's journey looks like non-stop trial and error, constant reinvention with no clear direction. It feels like he's still searching for what truly defines him. But for the Peltz family, who live by structure, control, and precision, that kind of unpredictability doesn't sit right at all. The difference between the Beckhams and the Peltz clan couldn't be bigger. One side is built on legacy, loyalty, and endurance. The other thrives on power, results, and dominance. And caught in the middle is Brooklyn, trying to carve out his own identity while two powerhouse families pull him in opposite directions. At that point, it's not just tension, it's friction locked in tight. Insiders claim Nelson Peltz has never been totally sold on Brooklyn's worth, not financially, not strategically, not even symbolically. In Nelson's world, love doesn't carry the same weight as leverage and influence. Sources close to David and Victoria say this change in their son didn't happen overnight. It crept in slowly. Decisions Brooklyn once made freely started getting checked elsewhere. And that's when they realized something had seriously shifted. Conversations started sounding different, filtered, careful, like every word had to be approved first. What used to be warm family talks turned formal, with lawyers suddenly in the mix. Boundaries got tighter, tones shifted, and the familiar closeness began to fade fast. People close to the Beckhams say Brooklyn wasn't always distant or cold. He didn't always see his parents as the problem or twist the past, but somewhere along the way, his voice changed, and so did the story of where he came from. Brooklyn completely denies that version, calling it false from top to bottom. He says, the narrative. Still, the timing's hard to ignore. The closer Brooklyn got to Nicola Peltz, the further he seemed to drift from his family. And here's the twist. While Brooklyn's side of the family feels fractured, his siblings are still tight with David and Victoria. They keep posting family moments, celebrating milestones, and showing love online. That contrast says a lot. Maybe this rift isn't just about the whole family. Maybe it's something way more personal. Brooklyn siblings have managed to build their own lives, chase their dreams, and still keep that strong Beckham bond alive. And that difference has everyone talking. More and more people think this might not be a family-wide issue at all. Maybe it's something deeply personal to Brooklyn himself. Here's the uncomfortable question. Everyone keeps asking if the Beckham home was really as controlling as Brooklyn says. Then, why was he the only one who cut ties completely? And why do it so loud? So public? That part doesn't sit right with May watching from the outside. Sure, some fans call him brave for standing his ground and speaking his truth. But insiders paint a heavier picture. They say the emotional fallout's been brutal, constant stress, deep hurt, and no real peace behind the scenes. There are no casual calls, no Sunday dinners, no natural family moments anymore. And insiders? Every talk between Brooklyn and his parents is formal, filtered, and carefully managed, more like a business deal than a family bond. And when it gets to that point, rebuilding trust feels almost impossible. Most celebrity family feuds follow the same tired script: the big shock, the quiet silence, and then a picture-perfect reunion for the cameras. But this one, it's breaking that formula completely. Because this isn't just emotional fallout, it's structural. Two powerful families, two different worlds, two opposing values, and one son trapped right in the middle. On one side, legacy, loyalty, and family endurance. On the other, control, leverage, and dominance. And until those worlds stop clashing, this rift isn't getting a happy ending anytime soon. The longer it drags on, the more permanent it feels like the damage is setting in for good. That's what makes this feud so intense. It's no longer about one fight or one awkward wedding moment. It's about power, loyalty, and influence, quietly steering Brooklyn's entire future. And now, one big question hangs in the air. What happens if Brooklyn ever wants to go back? Walking away feels strong when you're sure you're right. But returning, that takes humility, forgiveness, and accountability from everyone. And right now, none of that looks close. David and Victoria Beckham are reportedly still open to fixing things. But insiders say that hope doesn't stretch to everyone caught in this web of drama. Too many forces are moving now, and even if Brooklyn wanted to reconnect tomorrow, the road back wouldn't be easy or guaranteed. Too much has been said in public, too many lines crossed, and too many moments can't be undone. Every word now feels heavy. Every step, risky. One wrong move could push the family even further apart. This doesn't feel like a break anymore. It feels like a turning point that could define the rest of their lives. Right now, the questions hanging over everything are bigger than ever. Would Nicola Peltz even support a reunion? And the real one, would Nelson Peltz, the silent powerhouse behind it all, ever allow that door to open again? Or has this split gone so deep that fixing is no longer possible? Because at this point, it feels like there are two Beckham worlds, one moving forward strong and united, and the other standing apart, proud, isolated, and holding tight to its own truth. Brooklyn says he has no regrets and stands by his choice. David and Victoria Beckham say they'll wait. No deadlines, no pressure, no matter how long it takes. Nicola Peltz stays calm and unshaken through it all. Some say she's protecting her marriage. Others think she's guiding the story. But Brooklyn's life has changed forever. The gap between the world he left and the one he's in now feels impossible to close. Hit like, subscribe button.